let's all sit down, and now we are ready to hear a little more about your journey and about how you feel. How did you feel, James?
Doing that? It's quite painful. I've never been very bendy. Oh, no. I can see someone with a cup of tea through there.
Well, we have a machine over here. We can give you some coffee tea. Are you sure you don't want water? You're okay?
No, I think it's too
Tell
late
us a little more about what you've been up to, because I know you folks have been driving a lot around, so we'd like to hear about that.
Well, we started in North Carolina.
Yes.
And we started driving north, essentially, to New York, but on the way we visited various things, such as the very first NASCAR raceway. We looked at the culture of moonshine and its effect on motor racing, which is essentially that... Sorry, I'm really out of breath just from standing there. Hold on. Because the people who made the illegal drink had to outrun the police, they would modify their cars and make them much more powerful and much faster. They would getaway cars, essentially. But then realised that, you know, rival bootleggers would be able to have races at the weekend. And out of that culture, we got American NASCAR racing, which is why it's very grassroots, and, you know, they keep the rules quite simple, and the cars are quite basic. It's not like Formula One, where it's all, you know, super high-tech and a lot of people mincing around. It's sort of good old boys, whiskey and rye and all that sort of stuff. So we did a bit of that. Went on to the Virginia International Raceway, where we had a bit of a competition driving around the track, which I came second in, equal second.
Congratulations, wow.
Thank you. Where did we go after that? I can't even remember.
You've had at least 125 episodes so far, I noticed from your history on Wikipedia. Is that correct?
You've
been driving cars in all those episodes?
Yes, we've done... Yes, no, it's more than that in Britain.
Okay.
We've done 15 series. 15
series, okay.
Yes, with an average of 8 episodes. So what's that? 5 8s or 4, yeah.
What were some of the challenges you had on the way?
On this trip?
Yeah.
Well, having to drive slowly actually was quite difficult.
You're not used to with a Ferrari.
Well, it is weird. I mean, the thing I don't really understand about America is you have a very, very big country with a very, very low speed limit. I mean, in places 50 miles an hour, some places 35 miles an hour.
What's the speed limit in Europe?
Well, in Britain, the motorway speed limit is 70 miles an hour, but a lot of people drive at sort of 80, 85, and that's generally considered, you know, the police won't really bother you.
They'll look the other
as
way.
long as you know, the weather's all right and you're being sensible. But it seems in quite a few states, you know, the speed limit will be 50 or 55, and they really do throw you in jail if you do 60. So we're told. So we had to drive very carefully.
So if you're too slow. Oh, you're talking about here now?
Yeah.
New York. Okay, yeah.
So that's very strange that you should have such a big place and
what about the fact that we drive on the right side of the road? Was that a problem for you?
No, that doesn't really bother us, because we're the only country in Europe that drives on the left.
Okay.
So if you drive in Europe a lot, which we do anyway, you get very used to the idea of driving on both sides, and it's much better. I mean, this will rarely be a problem for you unless you come and drive in England or, well, India actually drives on the left. So the left is the yogic side of the road to drive on, yeah. But the important thing to do, I think, is if you go and drive on a country that drives on the right, is to drive a left-hand drive car. Because then every time you get in the car, you remember that you drive on the right. But if you take your right-hand drive British car to France, you might end up somewhere quite remote, and I've done this, and you go to bed and you get up in the morning and you've forgotten that they drive on the right, and you get in the car, and because you're sitting where you sit at home, you set off on the left, and it's only when a car comes the other way around the bend you suddenly think, oh no, I'm in France, I'm supposed to drive on the right. So that can be quite dangerous.
Yes.
So I'd always rather drive a left-hand drive car in America.
Probably safer to go on a one-way street, or is that even worse? Because it doesn't matter if it's a one-way street, right?
No, it doesn't really make any difference. But the trouble with one-way streets, I mean, we've got a similar thing in London to what I see as a problem here is that, you know, I was working my way through, starting from Brooklyn Bridge, just mentally using the grid system. I know sort of Broadway goes diagonally, doesn't it? And there's a few other...
So Bikram should.
Yeah. So you can sort of, you go north and you count the roads, and then you go left or right. So I could see in my head where this studio must be. But you always get to a bit where you plan to go left and you're not allowed to, so you have to go further north, and eventually it'll let you go left, and then you come down, but then you can't turn left up this street, so you have to go further south. So if you imagine you're starting here and your target place is there, you do that, and instead of going there, you sort of gradually home in on it like this,
right.
I find, until eventually you come around a tiny little street, you think, yes, there it is. And I didn't expect to win this race. I feel I may have been
you
slightly
certainly won it, and I hope you
up.
got something out of this. We're almost out of time as far as the taping goes, but I hope you got something out of this, James. How do you feel?
I feel very stretched.
You feel very centered, and
I feel very centered.
and you're going to recommend to your colleagues to join us next time.
I might recommend, I've got some other ideas of what to do with my colleagues before then. And it's not particularly yogic, and it won't bring them a great deal of inner peace.
They left you hanging dry.
I don't think they even attempted to come here. I think they just let me go. Yes, it's okay.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, but thank you so much for joining us, James.
It's very
You've been
calm
a wonderful
here. I like it, and I like the decor and the carpet, and I like the sense of, it's
I'm
a
so
sit
glad.
down.
You're
It's
such
a
a
nice
good
sit
sport,
down.
and I'm sorry that your colleagues missed it. I hope all of you will join us next time.
It's their loss.
Claudia, exactly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Claudia and Vikram, if you have any questions for James, this is your chance.
Well, it's very nice to meet you, James.
And you. Thank you very much for having
So
me.
you have 2 more fans already. I don't have a secret racing history, but I
But I
have
would
been
love to
watching.
see your car afterwards.
Well, it's
Oh,
right
that-
outside, so come and have a look, yeah.
Wonderful. I'd love to have a ride in it.
You can have a ride in it.
Well,
You
thank
can
you
sit
so
in it in
much.
the lotus position.
In lotus
joke.
position inside your car. Well, as long as I'm not driving, that's fine.
No, I'll
You're
drive
gonna-
it. You can find
That'll be lovely. That'll be
some
wonderful.
more inner peace.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.
And
Bye, America.
thanks for all of you who are watching us, viewers out there. Whenever you feel like stretching, you know you can walk into our studios anytime. Yoga Express airs Monday through Friday, 1:30 in the afternoons on Time Warner 57, RCN 84, and FiOS 35. This is Banu Suresh, your host for today. Thank you, Vikram. Claudia. Claudia has been wonderfully sporting as well. Claudia usually directs this program. And I'm so glad you're here, Claudia, to keep James company as well. James, thank you. You've been a great sport.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate you coming in. Richard, are we good to leave?
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, your colleagues did.